I like to talk about the Declaration of Independence. It says, and I'm sure y'all are familiar with, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers for the consent of the governed. When my ancestors were enslaved, who God identified as his children, regardless of what they thought, did they treat us as all men were created equal? With justice and liberty for all? So today this is why this is called the 4th of July. Because as Dr. King says, it's time to be true to what you said on paper. When Brandon Smith shot 27 times, Trayvon Martin, Brandon Wester, were they treated equally with justice and liberty for all? When Alberto y Paso Sierra, they shot him 62 times. 62. 4 deputies and 3 police officers. Was that liberty and justice for all? Was that the pursuit of happiness? It's time for America to do better. And this is why these crimes, enslavement, shooting unarmed people, no one held accountable. These are crimes against humanity. And it's time to hold America accountable. It's time to stand up. It's time to speak truth to power. It's time to take back our country by any means necessary. I am a descendant of American Revolutionary hero Zachary Jacobs. That lineage of my family were never enslaved on my grandmother's side. However, on my grandfather's side, which my cousin Kevin Grams reminded me, they were married into each other. They were descendants of United States colored troops. So I stand before you today as your sister from another mother and reminding you there's only one race, the human race, and only God is superior. And when he sees this type of injustice, he is not pleased and he will hold you accountable. And this time I'm asked to come to the front, the family of Alberto y Paso Sierra. His mother's right here in the back. We're going to ask y'all to come to the front to say a few words at this time. This is his father. Let's give them a hand as they come to the front.
Thank you for coming. Paco needed one somebody translator. Paco, Jonathan. For that way I can hear you speak better English than me.
Bueno, entonces decirle que muchas gracias que hayan venido y le agradezco por lo que están haciendo por mi hijo y que decirles ahorita.
I want to thank everybody for coming today, and thank you for what y'all doing for the family. Thank you for your support for my son.
Y ya todos ya sabemos de que lo que le hicieron a mi hijo fue un asesinato.
And we all know that what they did to my son was an assassination.
Porque las pruebas lo acreditan que ellos mismos dicen que le dispararon a una persona equivocada solo por ser hispano y ya que usaron 62 balas.
We have seen the proof, we have seen the evidence, and it was not necessary to use 62 shots.
Y solo estamos esperando ya que nuestro abogado entre en acción ya para que él ya vea todos los videos y todo y que ya todo salga a la luz.
And we're only waiting for the lawyer to do his job at this point.
Bueno, entonces le dejo a la madre y que hay que seguir siempre juntos y por la justicia de mi hijo Adilberto Espinosa, y muchas gracias.
Okay. Now I'm gonna let the mother talk, and I want to thank everybody for being supportive to us, and let's keep on going for this justice, all right?
Muy buenos días a todos.
Good morning to everybody.
Les agradezco mucho porque están todos aquí.
I thank everyone for being here today.
Para mí es muy difícil decir palabras.
For me, it's very difficult to put this into words.
Solo sé decir que justicia se va a hacer. Que esto que le pasó a mi hijo,
All I have to say is that justice will be served. What happened to my son,
que no le pase a otras personas, a otras madres, a otras familias.
I hope never happens to another person, another mother, or another family.
Tenemos que parar esto.
This needs to end. There needs to be a stop to this.
Porque lo que le hicieron a mi hijo fue muy cruel.
What happened to my son was cruel. What they did to my son was cruel.
Él no merecía una muerte así.
He did not deserve a death like this.
Y desde un principio sabemos que la policía nunca, hasta el momento, al día de hoy, me han ofrecido una disculpa.
To this day, the police department has not issued an official sorry or come to our house to apologize or sent us a letter of apology for my son's death.
Hasta el otro día que estábamos con el abogado en una videollamada, el fiscal dijo: lamento lo que le pasó a tu hijo.
We did receive a formal apology when we video called with the DA, with our lawyers, and he did offer us an apology. He said, I'm sorry for what has happened to your son.
Ese día supe cuántos disparos hicieron.
On that very same day and very same video call, I found out how many shots they fired to my son.
Y yo le dije: fue necesario disparar tanto contra mi hijo.
And I kept asking them, was it necessary? Was it necessary to shoot my son so many times?
Él no tuvo palabras, solo me dijo: no puedo contestar tu pregunta.
He didn't have words. He could not answer my questions.
Sé que se va a hacer justicia.
I know there will be justice.
No puede volver a pasar esto.
This cannot happen again.
Hasta el día de hoy a mí no me han dado su teléfono, su ropa, sus zapatos, una pulsera que yo le regalé, nada. A mi hijo me lo mandaron desnudo. Pude ver a mi hijo hasta la fecha 15 en una funeraria. No me dejaron ni reconocer el cuerpo de mi hijo. Yo no pude ver a mi hijo.
To this day, we have not received any of his personal belongings. His phone, the clothes he wore, anything that was on him that night on his physical body. They took everything as evidence and sent him to the medical examiner's office completely bare. They would not allow us to identify his body. They would not allow us to see his dead body. We did not receive his body but about a week and a half after.
Fui con Génesis al hospital donde estaba el cuerpo de mi hijo y dijeron de que no podíamos ver su cuerpo porque
I remember the day I brought my daughter with me to the hospital to go see him in the morgue, and they told us that we could not see his body because it was part of the medical examiner to come and unlock it, that we could not see it without a medical examiner to examine his body. It was seen as basically a piece of evidence.
Yo pienso que cuando pasan estos casos, lo primero que tienen que hacer es ir a tu casa y decirte: ¿sabes qué? Tu hijo está muerto. Y a mí no, nunca, ni yo, hasta el día de hoy, ya van a ser 4 meses y no, nada. Y es posible que ellos estén trabajando ahorita. ¿Y qué es lo que hace la policía? ¿Ayudarte o matarte?
To this day, we have not received the police to come to our door. Typically, in these cases, a police officer would show up to your door and inform you that your loved one is dead. To this day, we still have not received that after 4 months. And these very officers could be working right now. They could be out in the street working right now. What do you want from the police, to protect you or to kill you?
Hace poco me dijeron de que mataron a un chico de 15 años. ¿Era necesario matarlo? Como sea, la policía lo hizo.
We've seen many cases of police brutality. We've seen a 1-year-old get shot to death. We've seen a 15-year-old boy get shot to death. These are many cases all over America. This is a big problem happening right now.
A mi hijo lo matan porque tiene parecido con el otro chico, ¿no? Por su cabello, por ser hispano, pero americano. O sea, por tu color. ¿Qué es eso? ¿Es racismo?
They shot my son because he matched the suspect's description. They shot my son because he was a Hispanic man with curly hair. They shot him because of the color of his skin. What kind of logic is that? If that isn't racism, then what is?
Recuerden que lo que me pasó a mí le puede pasar a otra familia.
Remember that what happened to me can happen to another family.
Si ustedes estuvieran en mis zapatos, supieran cuánto dolor siento yo. Mucho dolor. Porque a mí sí me hace falta mi hijo. Todos los días. Yo solo paso en el cementerio. Ahí yo me siento bien. Y yo solo quiero justicia. ¿Qué justicia? Me dijeron a mí. Y yo dije, justicia es que ellos estén presos.
What happened to me, I don't think a lot of you could bear. I spent every day at my son's cemetery. I spent every day mourning my son. A lot of people ask me, what does justice look like for you? Justice for me is to have these officers incarcerated, to have these officers face the law.
Es todo lo que yo quiero, justicia. Yo agradezco mucho a Sonia, Madison, a todos los medios de comunicación. Y por este medio, si alguien lo está viendo, de esas personas que asesinaron a mi hijo así, yo los perdono, pero tienen que pagar con prisión. Porque si Dios me perdona, yo perdono también. Pero tienen que asumir prisión por haberme matado a mi hijo.
I want to say thanks to all the social medias, to all the people that have been by our side. Sonia and Madison have been a great help. But I want to also say that I do not have hate for these officers involved. I do not have hate in my heart for them. I can forgive them, but they have to face the law. They have to face the law.
¿Cómo creen que me siento cuando mi niño, Edil, me dice, ma, en la casa ya no hay felicidad? Betito daba mucha alegría y ya no siento eso.
It feels hard to be in a house where there's no more happiness. My son gave a lot of happiness to our home, gave a lot of warmth to our home, and it's hard to be surrounded in a house that does not have that anymore.
Y la niña me dice, ma, es posible que un muerto regrese, que venga a la casa. Y yo no tengo palabras para decirle.
Sometimes my little 15-year-old girl will ask me, is it possible for a deceased person to come back? Is it possible for my brother to come back? And I don't know what to tell her in those moments.
Solo pido justicia. Es todo. Y que otra mamá no pase por este dolor porque es muy grande lo que siento aquí. Fue una muerte muy cruel. Lo tuvieron mucho tiempo tirado ahí, en el suelo. Me lo patearon, se rieron de mi hijo. ¿Por qué? Porque algo tan cruel es no tener corazón, sentimiento.
I don't want another family to have to go through this. This is a very cruel process. This is a very cruel way to die. This is a very cruel way to handle a human's body. Many people there that night say that they witnessed the officers drag him out his car and kick his lifeless body and proceed to laugh, like if his death was funny. This is a cruel situation. No one deserves to go through this.
Mi hijo no tenía que ir todavía. Él me prometió a mí. Me dijo, ma, yo nunca te voy a dejar. Nunca te voy a dejar y ya no está.
My son was not ready to go. He would constantly tell me, Mom, I would never leave you. I would never leave you. I will always be by your side. He was not ready to go.
Mi hijo era todo, era cariñoso, era muy trabajador
My son was everything. He was very kind.
y
He was
era muy
very caring.
respetuoso.
He was very hardworking and very respectful.
Él estaba el día que no tenía que estar ahí.
He was there a day that he wasn't supposed to be there.
Yo le decía a mi hijo, aunque sea su último momento de vida, acuérdese de Dios y pídale perdón para que su nombre esté escrito en el libro de la vida.
She said she would tell him oftentimes, no matter in your last moments, always beg God for forgiveness. Always seek in God. Always trust in God. And I hope that in those last moments, those were his final thoughts. That he accepted the Lord as his Savior and that he saved his soul.
Good evening, everyone, or good morning. I'm Adalberto Espinoza, Sierra's sister. My name is Elizabeth Espinoza, Genesis Elizabeth Espinoza Sierra. I can agree with my mom in a lot of ways that this death was unnecessary. Nobody should have came out dead in this situation. I want it to be known that my brother was the only fatality from this situation. I understand that there were other victims involved from a situation prior, but I truly think nobody should have died this night. A lot of people are labeling my brother as a criminal or trying to bring up his past, and I want it to be clear that my brother, literally this Friday before he died, had court. He was getting his stuff together. He may have made mistakes in the past, but he was doing the right things and he was getting on the right course. And I don't feel like that should signify a death. I don't feel like the officers should be the judge and the jury to decide to put a man down. I think this was just so reckless. I'm surprised that at the very least they did not file for an excessive force charge. 62 shots in a public parking deck is way too many. We have witnesses, one witness, who actually got shot. His car got shot. He himself did not get shot, but his car, his vehicle was shot. That's how reckless they were. When we went to go see my brother's car, we only counted 23 bullets on his car. Where are all the other bullets? Only 13 hit his body? Where are all the other bullets that you shot? You can see that officers from the very beginning just wanted to shoot him. Even when he was driving next to them and they were walking next to his car and he was speaking to them, they said, if you do not get out this fucking car, I'm going to shoot you. I'm not going to shoot at your tires. I'm not going to shoot at your car. I'm going to shoot you. And in my opinion, it's crazy that they shot a stationary vehicle. That makes no sense to me. It's crazy that you do not have protocols in place to shoot at tires, simply for somebody not complying. That night, the only crime my brother had committed was not complying. I don't feel like that's necessary for a death to come out of that. And as my mother stated, I think it's just very cruel. The whole process that we had to go through was very cruel. My brother's body did not belong to us. It did not belong to him anymore. It belonged to the state. My brother's body was not ours anymore. They did not only take his life that night, but they took his bodily autonomy. We had no rights to see him. We had no rights to touch him. We had no rights because now his body was considered a part of an investigation. You know how belittling that is? To turn a human's body into a piece of investigation. And as my mom said, my brother was an American citizen. He had American rights. Nobody should be shot and killed by the way that they look or simply because they match a suspect's description. And like my mom said, this has been a very difficult situation. It's hard to put into words how the house feels, to be honest. I think it's even harder for my siblings and my mom. Like she mentioned, my little sister was very close to him. That was his best friend. They were always in a little duo. And it sickens me to know that he's never gonna see her graduate. He's never gonna see that little girl grow up. He's not gonna be here anymore. His birthday was last May. He's not here for his birthday. He wasn't here for Mother's Day, for Father's Day. And for what? For simply not stopping a car. And mind you, when he did stop, that's when they shot. It was never about the car. It was never about his car being a weapon. It was never about any of this. They, from the moment they saw he matched the description, they said, stop the car or I will shoot you. They were chasing him down with a gun already loaded. He even begs a witness and states, I don't want to die. They're saying I shot somebody. I didn't do anything. Take me home, please. He did not want to drive his car, but he also didn't want to get shot and murdered by the police. And nobody should have to experience that kind of fear. Nobody. And I thank you all for being here today. I really do. And for understanding my family's pain and understanding that this goes far beyond just my brother's case. This goes far beyond Wilmington. This goes far beyond North Carolina. The change needs to start here so it can be implemented in other locations. Police should be trained and should have protocols enforced for there to be protective measures. So you're just gonna shoot somebody through the head for not complying? I find that ridiculous. And if you have to shoot, you should not shoot vital organs. You should shoot at a leg, you should shoot at an arm, and definitely not shoot so many times. That is excessive. That is excessive to put somebody down to their death like that. Because the process that follows that is dehumanizing and shouldn't even happen. And again, thank you all for being here today. I know this is very hard to watch and witness and see in real time, but I have faith that these officers will face the law and they will be incarcerated. A lot of people ask us, what is your next step? Are you going to sue? What choice do we have? What choice do we have to get justice for my brother's death when the system has failed him not just once by killing him, but twice by not giving him justice? No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. Thank you, guys.
Let's give this courageous family a hand. For being the voice of Alberto and ensuring that this doesn't happen again. Law enforcement cannot be judge, jury, and executioner. There were 7 officers involved, 4 were deputy sheriffs. Now you can fire a deputy sheriff. You know that. It's not as very, very easily. But that didn't take place. And there were 3 officers, city police officers involved. We've been fighting these type of cases for well over a decade, and there hasn't been a fatality like this in 10 years. But we've had different leadership. We have to look at the leadership. The leadership says a lot about law enforcement, Because there are a lot of laws and things in place, but are they being followed? Are they being followed? Elder Roto, there is a law in place if you fail to stop, but it's not death. He didn't deserve that. And then they didn't shoot him until the car was stopped. This has to stop because we don't know who will be next. I'm sure 10 years ago, this family had no idea. And if we don't get new law enforcement, it's going to be another family. We need a new law enforcement, chief of police and sheriff. We need a new sheriff, and we need a new chief of police.
And DA.
And DA.
And judge.
For the record, because it's the leadership. So let's continue to speak for justice, and we'll continue to stand for justice. What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
No justice?
No peace!
No justice?
No peace!
No justice?
No peace!
No justice?
No peace!
At this time, we continue to stand with you, because if we don't speak out now, if they don't get new leadership, there'll be another family, and that's what we don't want. And we will continue to support the family. Thank you for your courage. Let's give them another hand.